Now we're up and running. Yeah, I will. So
Okay.
let's rock and roll.
So, welcome to a new episode with Dinner with the Explorer and the Futurist. And today we are in this beautiful garden in Dine, in the coast of Belgium. And who are we visiting here?
Yeah, we are visiting Jean-Philippe, and he's the founder of ActionJ, a company building self-learning AI systems. But he's also deeply inspired by nature and patterns and how we humans fit into a bigger system. And today we're talking about what it means to build technology that learns like nature does, and how asking better questions might be more important than finding fast answers. And first of all, thanks for having us, Jean-Philippe.
More than welcome.
Yeah.
In the tiny country of Belgium.
Belgium, yeah. And we are out here in this beautiful garden, and what have you prepared for us today?
Since we are in Belgium, of course we need to have mussel and fries. What
Exactly.
better is to play in Belgium?
Exactly, le moule frite.
Le moule frite. Yeah. With the specialty now in the background, there's a chicken chasing a cat, which is also quite exotic, I would say. But first
It's
of all, not
a chicken, it's Clementine.
It's Clementine. Yeah. And the cat is not a cat; it's
Marcellus.
Marcellus, exactly. But first of all, Jean-Philippe, just brief introduction to who you are and why you are as you are.
Yes, I'm Jean-Philippe. I'm Belgian, of course, with Dutch roots. Always lived my life in Belgium, and originally coming from the coast, from here, in The Haan, where I ended up at the later stage of my career. I'm running a company that is operating globally, so I'm all over the place all the time. But I call Belgium, or the Belgian culture, my home. So it's not a place, it's a culture. And my background is I'm a scientific, so I studied at the University of Louvain, where I studied international politics, afterwards in applied economics. Did a master after master in demographics, which is basically statistics, but I was always fascinated by nature. So I am a ornithologist. So I do scientific research for the Royal Institute of Natural Sciences in Belgium, in Brussels, where we study bird migration and the climate impact on bird migration.
Yeah.
So if you ask me what I am an ornithologist. That's the most important thing, I would say. Yeah.
And you really like birds. I brought you to Norway, to my cabin, and we were walking through the woods, and every time it was, no, listen. That's a,
Yeah.
really fascinating. But,
Yes.
but
So if
really,
you hear now, tick in the background, that's a blackbird, and that's the alarm of a blackbird. We saw just a cat running by. It's because the cat is there. He's doing this.
yeah, cool.
So this is behavior, nature behavior, in your garden.
But you have said that just look outside. Nature shows us how to build the better system. What is it in the nature beyond what you've seen in the lab that shaped you into like the AI and technology path you're going to?
Correct. I always was an entrepreneur. So my current company is my fourth, I call it endeavor, so project. And I sold my three previous projects to big companies. To me, the entrepreneurship, being an entrepreneur, is also being very, I would say, observant what's going on and what you encounter as for instance, a challenge that you can make of an idea out of that and maybe a business out of that. Well, in order to be a good ornithologist, to be a good biologist, to be a good whatever in nature or in science, you need to be it's first observing. So I always say the solution, because nature is an algorithm that exists more than 4 billion years, so it had lots of training and lots of trials and we call that in AI reinforcement learning, so they had a lot of that. So it's way more smarter than us in that. So that's why lots of the solutions are in nature. So and that's why I think in my business, being an ornithologist is almost more important than being a statistician, so a demograph. So yeah, so that's the connection.
You are quite curious person, I have
Yeah.
to say, and how you have been looking on the nature and how to use it to that.
Yeah.
What you think curiosity makes possible that
Yeah.
logic itself can't?
Yes. I'm the opposite of curiosity killed the cat. I mean, curiosity makes the cat, I would say. And it's sometimes annoying with the people that I'm around with because I'm always super curious. So if we in the middle of a conversation and then a bird flies by, oh, this is happening. Stop. You saw this, you saw that. So, and I can imagine it's sometimes annoying for people who are around me, but it's not mean harm. It's just, like it's the curiosity. So, and I think everybody should have that. You have that as a little kid, and that's how you grow. That's how you learn things. But you should keep that, like your whole life. I think so. That's my. And you see, the chicken is
resting in the background
and listening also to the interview.
hoping to get in.
Clementine, yes.
Which is something that we've learned so far. Don't let the chicken in.
No.
But curiosity, of course, it's important. But X&J mission focuses on fair, transparent, and self-learning AI. What does self-learning mean to you when it comes to system design by humans?
Well, I'm a true believer in ecosystem. So nature is an ecosystem, and it's all kind of small ecosystems that are all connected. But there's one big ecosystem that operates in a certain way. And I think everything is ecosystem. Society is also an ecosystem. Your family is also an ecosystem. Your business is also an ecosystem, etc., etc. So everything works always in ecosystems. And why, like I said before, why don't you look outside? You have damn very good ecosystems that had grown and built in nature. So why can't we copy that, get its inspiration from, etc., etc.? But then, therefore, you need to be able, to understand the ecosystem and look outside, and the solution is always there. Yeah.
But in your experience, how can AI be used not just to optimize, but to better understand the world around us?
Well, because we saw in the past that innovation is always key to move forward. So I'm a deep tech. I was my whole life in deep tech. When I was a student, I already had startups that were first internet startups, etc. So to me, deep tech is a way to make a better world, to have a better life, etc. But there are some key things to do. You need to do it in a fair way. You need to do it in a transparent way. You need to do it in a decentralized way, because I don't think that one company having the monopoly on something or one country is a good thing for society. So, etc., etc. So you need to really have those reflexes, and nature has it that way as well. It's a decentralized system in its root. And it's very adaptable, and it's etc. So, but long time ago, 100 years, 150 years, when the Industrial Revolution came, it took more than 10 to 15 years when a new technology came to be a mainstream and disrupt and be adopted first disrupted and be adopted by the mainstream. It took 10 years. Today, new technology is taking a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So we had, a couple of months ago, we had API as a standard. Now it's changed. It's MCP as a standard. And it's just, in a couple of weeks that it's changed. And it's the standard for the whole market. So this is how fast economies will evolve and will go. So yes.
Yeah, but do you believe ethical AI can exist without deep curiosity for both the creator and the system itself?
Well, that's a good question. I think ethical AI is transparent AI in the first place. So, because today, 99% of the AI is, as we call it, black boxed. You get the results and you don't know how the results are made. Therefore, people can keep the secret sauce. Yeah. And it's not about keeping the secret sauce, it's about people understanding it. So, and what people don't understand, they are afraid of, they can be controlled with it, etc., etc. So it needs to be, that's what I call decentralized and transparent. Yeah. So, and then you can understand. And by the way, at X&J, we are completely transparent. We predict, we're in predictive AI, we predict what is going to happen in the B2B market, what the companies will do, but the machine is showing how and why it's doing. So the end user, because I'm not a marketeer, I'm not a finance guy, I'm not a sales guy, I'm not a risk analyzer, etc., etc., we're data and science guys, so or people. So that means that the marketeer understands much better his market than I do. So he should be the ultimate person to judge if the machine made a good decision or a bad decision. So that's a transparency.
Yeah, because that's a very crucial part of the philosophy that you have, bringing this, to the people,
Yes.
decentralizing it,
Yeah.
making it understandable for everyone what is really going on
Yeah.
when we are using, or you are using your data through our machine, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, because today if you take, because 60% of the AI you read in the press is to me not really AI. So it's BI, it's advanced analytics, etc., etc. It's doing super smart things, don't get me wrong, but it's not always that. And then you have a big part that is LLMs, so large language modeling. So semantic with languages. By the way, NLP, natural language processing, exists already 40 years, so that's nothing new. We have just faster machines, we can crunch more data, we have better interfaces, so that's why companies like OpenAI and DeepSeek and Le Mistral, etc., are very successful, because they can crunch a lot of data, and at the same time they're very smart, and at the third time they have a nice interface. So it's it reaches everybody. So that's severely changed, but that means OpenAI has the secret sauce, so to speak. DeepSeek has the secret sauce. So if you put your data there, DeepSeek, it goes to China. If you put in ChatGPT, it goes to the US. Even if you say, tick off the box, you're not allowed to use my data, well, it's in the US. It's US law that counts, not European law. So you don't know what they're doing with your data. So I think people are always very, they go very lightly over those things. And today you pay 20 euros a month. But we all know that OpenAI consumes more than $700 million a day just in infrastructure and in CPU power. Not even salaries, not even all the rest of the cost. That's a model that is not sustainable for a long time, unless they will do something with the pricing models, etc., etc. And the data is there, and they control the pricing models. So, I mean, if you put your business on that, I wouldn't bet all my money there. so yes.
Yeah.
So.
It's like translation from nature is like one of the things you saw.
Yeah, so
what's natural principle or behaviors have you seen that surprise how easy you can translate it into algorithm thinking or design thinking?
Yeah, that's another discussion, but a very interesting discussion. I'm a super fan of biomimicry. So biomimicry is copying nature in some kind of way, or get your inspiration from nature. And you can first copy form. That's an easy one. So you work with oceans. I mean, you probably already touched shark skin. And shark skin everybody thinks it's very soft, but it's not very soft. But it's also antibacterial. It has antibacterial composition. So what if we could copy that composition into, I don't know, hospital walls or hospital instruments? It will be antibacterial from the core. You see lotus leaves. Lotus leaves are always clean. Have a look. They're always clean, unless a big branch falls on it or something like that. But they're always clean. They have a certain surface, and when it rains, the raindrops are pulled outside, and they take the dirt with them. Well, what if the paint of my house would have the same? So you can go a step further. There's a couple of shopping malls in Zimbabwe and it's there 36, 40 degrees almost all the time. And there's a stable temperature of 26, 28 degrees in those shopping malls without air conditioning, because they built the ventilation system, and they copied ant hills and termite hills, so there's air circulate in a certain way. So another solution. But then you can copy also a whole ecosystem. I mean, a fungi eats a dead, animal. The fungi is eaten by certain plants. The plants are eaten by certain animals, and you have site upgrades and downgrades and etc., etc. So this is using the whole system is one closed ecosystem that is super supportive, and that means also there's no byproduct. We humans, we always create a byproduct, and that's always our problem. We should look at nature and try to build things without creating a byproduct. Why don't we have a plastic that, like, is 100% biodegradable. We can do it. Why didn't we do it yet? Because, like, there was not 100% win or whatever. There are other economicals. But we should look at nature. Because if something is not working, it's called Darwinism, it just dies out. And it's only the things that are. That's what we call reinforcement learning. Our whole platform is built on reinforcement learning.
Sorry.
Because bless you, because we present in a full transparent way the results to our end user, who's, for instance, a marketeer or a finance guy, because he's the market specialist and he gives feedback. And he gives feedback, a good feedback, thumbs up, and he gets more of the good, bad feedback. Like, he gets less of the bad, and the machine is presenting a new solution to him. So this is basically Darwinism or reinforcement learning in AI. So we're a strong believer in that. I believe that AI in the future will enhance people, make people better in what they are or change in what they are, like the Industrial Revolution did, like all the other technological, like the internet did, etc., etc. So yeah, I'm talking a lot.
No, that's the point. Just before you come with the next question, because that's what you helped Katarina's friend with, right? What you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Can you just really quickly tell us about?
Yeah. So Scripps, that's connected at the University of California, but the San Diego University. They do research on deep sea creatures. They do research and see what the penetration is of fibromicroplastics in their cells. So they discovered in the heart cells of deep sea fish more than 2 miles down, fibromicroplastics that are coming mainly from clothes, plastic clothes, for instance. There's always plastic, but also from other sources. So why is it based in San Diego? Because in San Diego you have 300 meter, like under the waves, the coast goes very slightly deep, but then it goes down like 2 mil. It goes all of a sudden 2 miles down, and they have a pier that goes until the trench over there, so they can directly access those deep sea creatures, whatever they are, fish, plants, etc. And so Dimitri Dine, who developed a new technology with bioluminescence to lighten up those microplastics in cells, in animal cells or in creature cells, in organism cells, and then they count the fibroplastics manually. So they have PhD people that are counting this manual under a microscope, which is like a stupid job. They're way too smart to just count that manual. I'm sorry, it's a waste of CPU time, if we could call it like that. Smart CPU time. So we developed a way of categorizing and recognizing automatically, based on a number of variables, all those microplastics. And we present the results to those PhD students, and they just have to reinforce when it makes a mistake or a good job. And then but it goes fast, super fast then, and the machine becomes super smart because, it's got the reinforcement learning. So basically now all over the world, because he's getting samples from all over the world, so he can digest all that, and they can focus on the real science work instead of focusing on this manual waste of time, if it is. So, and that's how I see AI, help the real problems in the world. So I predict also that AI will help solve ecological problems, etc., because people can focus on the things they are more smart at, and you need to go hand in hand with the machine. So that's how you're the smartest.
And it's kind of a beautiful circle, thinking that when you are at Bear Island taking water samples, sending them to Dimitri in San Diego, he is actually using Jean-Philippe's platform to monitor the amount of plastic and categorize them. I think that's super cool. Sorry.
But that's also like what we always talk about, like technology is good when you have the hands of the right people. So I'm doing it for the best cause.
I always say that. AI is an amazing opportunity for human mankind, but it's like a hammer. You can use it to build a house, and you can use it to kill somebody. It's your choice. So that's what you need to do. So.
But that is a little bit the same with like the nature is like both harmony and chaos. How do you navigate that tension when you are modeling systems that are meant to adapt over time when you have these differences?
I always believe, a firm believer, at the end we call it with human supervision. So I believe in supervised machine learning. So, but that's my personal belief. I'm not saying, you know, like there are people that are say we want unsupervised machine learning. I believe that you can let the machine do a lot of things, but it needs to be transparent and decentralized, so you understand how the machine is reasoning and how it's doing things. But at the end, you need to have some kind of supervision that says, okay, this was good, this was bad, or at least control points and stuff like that. I think I'm a firm believer in that. It can go, the machine can have a lot of autonomy, I'm not saying that, but at the end you need some kind of a control, because otherwise machine can go, and we see it already now with ChatGPT, they can hallucinate, they can go rogue, they can etc., because there's no human control. So yeah.
Yeah. And that's interesting, but let's talk a little bit more about your, you know, personal curiosity and lifelong learning, because we are on this journey and so much is going on and new opportunities and new, you know.
Yeah, faster and faster.
Yeah, exactly. But what kind of questions are you asking yourself right now? Questions that you don't yet have the answers to, but what are your kind of field of where are you moving?
That's a very big philosophical question.
Yeah.
No, I truly believe that machine can help us being more aware who we are, what we are, where we're going to, etc. I'm a strong believer in that. Because in the first place, you take all the repetitive and the stupid work away. So that's one part. So you free more time to be busy with the real questions, the real now, etc. Because people, if you're busy with all the procedure, you're not busy with the real now. And I think we live in the now, and you need to enjoy and think about the now. So that means that you need to focus on your thing that you're doing today. That doesn't mean that you don't have to think and to, you know, like see what is going to happen in the future. You can always envision something like that, but you can't change it. The future is not here yet. So that's why if the machine can help you, that you can be more focused in the now, you will make much more progress. I think more scientific research will come to a better end. Will be more creative, more etc., etc. We will be able to connect dots because we live in the now, because of machines, and you'll be more aware that are further away from each other. And the further away dots are from each other you can connect, the better, the higher the results, the more progress you're making. So I truly believe in that. So machine, it's a contradiction, but machine will help us to be more aware.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I think that's an interesting kind of thought as well, because a lot of people right now are, you know, they're seeing what the machine can do and they're afraid.
Yeah, that's exactly the first reflex.
Yeah, but now you also talk about, you know, our ability to be critical thinkers, problem solvers, you know, our ability to ask good questions is more important than just the ability to give quick answers. So we can get quick answers when, like the Dimitri example, for instance, he has done, or they have done all the hard work, figuring out, you know, that this was possible. Now we can use the machine to help them just get the results. Yeah. So he can move on and they can move on.
Or become even better.
Yeah, even better. And
to get
solve
more results,
the problems, right?
Yeah, and connect dots that are further away.
But are these one of the, you know, new... what do you call that? New skills that we need to kind of train more on to ask, you know, better questions. Do you think?
I totally believe that. I mean, part of the awareness is also when you're aware. You, like Aristotle said more than 2,000 years ago or 2,500 years ago, he said, well, you know, like the more you know, the more you realize you know just shit. So I mean, it's just, but it's like that. So already then they were saying it, and now we know so much more. So the key will be, and it's moving faster and faster, and you will need to learn new skills all the time and have new knowledge all the time. So you'll need to unlearn and relearn faster and faster, because the economy and the world the treadmill is turning faster and faster. So because of the machines as well. So
cool.
Yeah. Have that curiosity ever take you down a path that in the beginning it didn't make sense at all, but then it was maybe some of the most important?
Yeah, I truly believe that. So I truly believe that sometimes you go in a direction, and it's not like a dog. I mean, because they always make the comparison. The dog enters the room and he doesn't know why he entered the room. You know, like. But sometimes because it's moving so fast, you need to really think that way sometimes. I said, okay, I'm living more in the now, I'm more aware, so let's do this with 100%. But I don't know where it will go. But at least let's try it.
Yeah.
So yes. So
See what happens.
See what happens.
I think the chances then are like 90% that will go okay. And
Yeah,
that's wrong. And
I mean,
it's so worth it.
I give you an example. So a machine, what we're doing at ActionJ, a machine can select a good supplier for you. So you put all the criterias in, or a good customer, potential new customer. You put all the criterias, and there are 100 criterias, and the machine will look for all the companies worldwide that are fitting that definition, and will predict you need to call them tomorrow or today because now they're ready to buy your product, according a bunch of signals, because we translate data into signals, and a cocktail of signals is telling you what the behavior of the company will be. So that's what is happening today. So you can focus, remember in the now, you can focus on those companies, and all those companies will be excellent suppliers or excellent customers for you. You can focus on other things. Is this a good energy match? Is this company aligned with my philosophy? Aligned with my, with my goals? It's aligned with this and this and this. So you can focus on that, because you won't make a mistake, because before you would try to feel that and say, okay, I'll take a decision more on my gut feeling. Well, it might be that you take a good gut decision, but actually economically, later on, it was a bad decision. You're losing money on that decision, and now you will be sure you won't lose any money on all the companies that you try to make a deal with, because the machine selected all those criteria. And it will happen that the machine makes a mistake, because it's also nobody expected the machine makes a mistake, because if an autonomous car drives against a tree, it's first news paid. But then it happens not a lot. But when humans are doing it, it's not even in a newspaper anymore. No. So you see, machines are making mistakes. But then that's why we believe in reinforcement learning. You train the machine to become better. So yeah.
And speaking about that, you worked with combining human feedback loops and machine learning. But are there still areas where humans outperform algorithms, do you think?
No. Short answer.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I mean, they said in the beginning, the machine will never replace human creativity. Well, guess what? It's the first thing it did. It came out with amazing painters, amazing things, etc. And now, what is happening with whatever LLMs, they can already now replace until mid-level coders. So yeah, so now today it's amazing. We did an animation for our marketing for one of our logos and our mascots that we're using in our marketing and our social media marketing campaigns. And instead of having somebody who's designing that, you just go there. It's animated, everything, etc., automatically. You don't need to have somebody like that. So those people will need to move as well. So it's a moving world. And if you're not adapting, you're getting.
I'll make sure that
it's Clementine.
You're not going in.
Yeah.
That's my extra job during this recording.
Say hi to Clementine.
Yeah.
But how do you think, like, if we now we're feeding all the machines with data, but if you feed it with wonder instead, how do you think the AI will behave differently than it do now?
But a machine is still a machine. So a machine still needs to be fed. A machine still behaves like a machine. So we see more. Yeah, I saw a comparison. The use of ChatGPT in 24 and 25. I think I showed you that. Yeah. And on the first place, it was like, more like a Google search, searching things and finding things more quickly. Then secondly, it was translations and helping you compose emails and stuff like that. And then third, it was like being a companion, just ask randomly questions and stuff like that. And there was like more being a coach. And now in 25, being a companion is number one.
Yeah.
Being my coach is number two. Yeah. So it really flipped. And people think that those machines are independent certified coaches, but they are not. They're working according to a Gauss curve, so they will give you all the median with all the answers get in, and it's an algorithm that is trained by you, so it will give you also what you like to hear. So you know, like, you need to have a little nuance in those things. So
I guess that's why people like to have it as a coach, because they will
course.
say what you like to hear.
that's a bit
Sometimes it's
exaggerated,
good.
but yes,
Yeah.
So yeah. And even if you say to them, because but mine, I say not to be my friend, not to do that, it will always do it. So it's their way of being. Yeah. So if you can call it that.
But to go into a little bit more like bigger reflection, what's something that you have observed, whether it's in the forest or the city or a data set or through the birds you are observing, that have changed how you see the world now?
I see how resilient nature is. So nature could solve by itself our climatology problem that we're having. But we are moving so fast, it doesn't have time to adapt. That's the problem. It's not that it cannot adapt, it doesn't have time. So we see over here, we went swimming in the ocean, we will see over here, the ocean is super warm. It's like 2 or 3 degrees warmer than it was like 30 years ago. And you have new species coming in, like sardines and fish that are coming from the more southern part that normally were not here. So nature is adapting. So it says, the sardines, I'm super okay here. Let's move on. Let's discover. And they're curious, basically. Yeah. And that's how nature is moving. So nature will always do that. And then if something doesn't because it's too hot, we see that in the plants and the trees. I mean, today the summers are much more hotter, much more moist winters, much more drier summers. So the vegetation is changing, is adapting to that. So that's something that we need to do. That's why I also try to put in the family of algorithms. Is you need to adapt, because that's why we give feedback. Today you take a business decision and you give feedback to a cocktail of singles good in that way, and tomorrow it might rain. And you take a different business decision. So you need to be able to give a different feedback, and the algorithm needs to adapt. And that's inspired by nature. Yeah.
And I hope that for every episode from now, I need to chase a chicken. Yeah.
Clementine.
That makes a cool break. No, but if you could design a future where AI systems support human curiosity rather than replacing it, what would that look like?
Well, I don't believe that machines will replace humans. So I truly don't believe that. It will push and shift humans in another direction. And you might not like that direction as a person. That could be. And that's why people are always afraid, because it's the unknown. They don't understand it, because it's black boxed all the time. It's too complicated, and they're afraid of the unknown. So they don't want to do it. And you have people say no, which is also fine. I mean, everybody does whatever he wants. But I think machines will help humans more and more. But humans need also time to adapt. That's also a problem. And some people are faster with that than others. I see a complete parallel with the internet. So I had the first internet startups. Well, you had companies that were on the internet and companies that were not on the internet. I don't understand this. I don't want this. This is new. It's exactly the same. So, for instance, if you sell wine, you had companies that were not on the internet. I'm a sommelier. I need to explain everything. But you had, like wine companies that were selling wine bottles online in the beginning on a website. Well, they pushed a lot of companies out because they adopted new technology. And it's exactly the same with AI. You have a company that works with AI and a company that doesn't work with AI, and I can guarantee you it will push the companies that are not working with AI out of the market. That's how economics works. So that will happen. Yeah. I mean, you're on the train or you're not. You're afraid and you don't want to do it. That's fine too. I mean, maybe but it for sure will not replace a plumber and those kinds of things. But plumbers might be used, like AI with a little robot to see where the leak is, doing this or doing that. I don't know. So yeah, they will use technology in a different way. Yeah.
But the close-up a little bit is wonderful talk, and it's always so interesting to listen to Jean-Philippe. It's if you could let people ask themselves one question, or ask people at work or school or something, meet to actually even build up their curiosity or to take a further step do you have one question you will say people should ask
Yeah, I
themselves?
mean, you should be always asked the question, when you see something, wherever it is, if it's nature or even, I don't know, how you go into a shop or whatever, why don't you ask a question, how is it there? How does it come there? How does it work? How does it, like, be curious about the mechanism, the ecosystem, how it's there. So I don't understand. We hear now the blackbird, ting, 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 ting. I don't understand. People can, like, have a beer the whole night and not even wondering what that noise is. I don't get this. This is being curious. So, and then I want to understand it and what's behind and what it's doing, etc. So, and that's what I think everybody should do. I mean, just be curious. The world is so beautiful. Yeah, be curious about it. So yeah.
So ask questions.
Ask to yourself.
Figure,
to yourself.
Why is this thing?
Why now?
Those things.
So and then you live also more in the now because you're busy with this is now and and I'm worried about tomorrow and what's going to happen and will Putin drop a bomb and will Trump do this, etc. No, think about the now.
Yeah.
So.
That's cool.
Good question.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Jean-Philippe, for having us.
Yeah, my pleasure for you being here.
Much more
all
to
the
eat,
way from
and we
Norway.
have more warm mussels as well.
Yes.
They were
Because they're
really
cold now.
beautiful. Yeah, but they're really beautiful. And thank you for a really, really interesting conversation.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.